Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's me, War Rabbit, and today we're going to be talking about this weekend tournament results. We're mainly going to be talking about the London Grand Tournament and just one tournament that was pretty large, the Munsterland Major 3. I believe this was one of 72 players, yep, 72 players. And congratulations to Nicholas Frericks of the Chaos Knights. It's a WTC scoring, so it's a little bit of a change. But we're going to be looking at the Tau Empire list because I like doing Tau Empire focused list reviews, even if it's not entirely like the best. Because like, yeah, Chaos Knights are still doing okay. We can just take a quick peek at the list. It's most likely just going to be, yep, triple Knight Despoiler, double Gatling, or dog Omnivores in a Infernal Lance. So yeah, they're just max amount of shooting as much as you can. It's a pretty good type of list. The carnivores run around. Carnivores and stalkers are running around, just aiding in that. But the main thing is just putting so many shots from the Despoiler Gatling cannons, and I believe in Infernal Lance you can get like lethal hits on one of these guys or something like that, and you just shoot things to pieces. It's a hard list to beat right now. I wouldn't say it's one of the best lists in the game, but it's just difficult. Knights are eating good recently. But yeah, we're going to be going to a number sixth place with Lucas Kling Solinki. I apologize if I brutalized your name. We'll stick with Lucas. He came sixth, and he is running a Triptide list in Montka. So we're going to be seeing an Enforcer battlesuit. I think the main thing is that now, like Fire Knives specifically, he's running the quad pod with Strike Swiftly. Strike Swiftly is going to be pushing this Breacher team forward. They can just get spotted by the Devilfish, and then if they get their own. If we go to Wikipedia, I should have this pulled up before. I'm flying by the seat of my pants as always. If we go to the Breacher stat line, they get. Boop. Oh, damn. Well, it looks like Wikipedia, when you type in Breacher, doesn't pop up. We can click this. So, Breachers, if you look at this, each time they can reroll the wound roll, right? Well, you can get them. They naturally hit on 3s, right? So if you guide them with your Devilfish, right, they're hitting on 2s, full rerolls to wound if you're targeting strength 6 shooting, right? AP 1 at 10 inches. Your Montka, so it comes with assault, so you're going to be doing the disembark Montka shenanigans. And you're basically just diving out that Devilfish. Devilfish is going to guide for you because it has assault, because you're in the first 3 phases of Montka. And you just hop out, target something on the objective, fully rolls the wound, and you're clear. You just clear whatever the hell's on it. That's what that Strike Swiftly is going to be used for. And then there's going to be some other stuff. Maybe there's also Strike Swiftly on right here is going to be the broadsides. So the broadsides, they are going to be your indirect fire pieces in this list, especially if you're, because now they're so much cheaper. They're like 10. Basically, you save 30 points on this list to run this type of list with the broadsides now. So taking 3 individuals, it's really, the 3 individuals are a lot more interesting because you can separate, you can have better split fire. If 2 broadsides is going to be enough to kill something, you don't have to shoot all 3 into it without, like, yeah, you basically shoot 1 broadside, then shoot the next, and then shoot the third. It's just a timing thing. Yeah, they're not as good as of like stratagem usage, like coordinated engagement or whatever, where you target the same thing, the same unit, and you get +1 AP, and you can only target that 1 unit. But especially with the smart missile systems, with the way guidings work, you can weapon support system ignores the ballistic skill modifier. You can get ignores cover from a Pathfinder or any other unit that's guiding with these. And if you don't necessarily have to put the breachers in the Devilfish. If you think you could get your Pathfinders into the breacher, right? Because there's no recon drone, unfortunately. And there's a recon drone. So yeah, you can run the recon drone. You can get infiltrate on your Pathfinders, infiltrate them, and then scout forward or backward, and you can get a really juicy turn 1, turn 2 guide behind cover. and these broadside smart missiles will be able to just delete something. So it's a twin smart missile system, so that they already get the full rerolls to wound, and they're hitting on 3s, no reroll 1s. So they're not super duper amazing because like you're losing that, but because broadsides have that weapon system, same with Riptides, they built in for the Riptide. They get these really juicy shooting angles for these smart missile systems with full rerolls to wound because of the twin linked. Fire Knife, he's going with the Enforcer. I still think crisis suits are a little overcosted, but there is a list that we're going to be looking at from Cal Grundy. He's one of the best Tau players in the world at the London Grand Tournament. Most of the lists are coming from the London Grand Tournament. But yeah, I still think even with the points reduction on Fire Knives, meh, you know. Actually, is this even the new points cost? Our Fire Knives? I wonder if Wikipedia has it up. I'm pretty sure Fire Knives are supposed to be 115. You know what? They probably used to be 125. Yeah, I think that's the new. It's been quite some time, but yeah, the Fire Knives they should be 120. Yeah, they still have the problem where basically half the damage is coming from the commander attached to the unit. So basically these Fire Knives are just ablative wounds, and he's basically effectively created a 4th broadside unit for what almost 200 points more, you know, like almost 100, over 100 points more. So it's just I don't know. I think specifically Fire Knives are awkward, but if you want this long range shooting that can move around quickly, that the broadside can't, but in Montcalm the broadside kind of can move surprisingly quickly. I think the Fire Knives are just inferior to a high yield missile pod broadside, but he's got 3 data sheets of it, so yeah, you got 220 points. You want to throw it somewhere. Double Ghost Keel. Ghost Keels are your mid-board threat. You throw these on the center objective, and they're almost impossible to clear because they're Rogel Dorn with Lone Up. The Cyclic Ion Raker is really good into these Terminator bricks that are coming out, or these fast-moving like Centurions, like from these Centurion units. You get the battlesuit support system, so you can fall back and shoot. No weapon support system, so they're actually still going to struggle into the new Ravenguard Shadow Talon or Shadow Strike Task Force, what the hell it's called, the special one you get with Asian when you run Eighth and Sean and stuff like that. These guys still are gonna struggle into like the -1 to hits, so you're gonna be losing that, and they get cut. You can strip cover. They're still gonna be hitting on 4s outside of 18 with 8th when you're targeting them, but these guys are really hard to kill, especially if you have like those Vanguard vet bricks that just charge in the Ravenguard unit. That Vanguard veteran brick is probably not going to kill the Ghost Keel in combat, and there is a good chance that you get deleted. The Ghost Keel will just fall back and then shoot you, and you'll probably pick up half the unit. But they do run, sometimes they run Inferno pistols on one unit. Most of the time they're running Storm Shields, so the Vanguard vets are surprisingly tanky. But whatever the Cyclic Iron Raker shoots, it's most likely going to pick up like 3 or 4 of them. And you get the Fusion Blasters. You know, the Ghost Keel doesn't really have any good top guns. The Twin Fusion Blasters is 1 Fusion Blaster shot, so it's like, I don't know, man. When it was 2 in 9th, it was pretty good. Got the Crew Carnivores. They are your forward deploy. These are just guys that are either going to sit on home objectives after they screen out some scouts or infiltrates, or they're just going to run up the board. Unfortunately, they do not work for the, hey, this unit, we drop a command point on and he kill. And we drop a command point and we get a shit ton of benefits. So it's still useful for like the broadsides. Like if you kill the breacher team with like some like if you drop the breacher team out and like say that Ravenguard list charges you and it picks up your breacher team, well you just drop a command point and now you got full rerolls to hit against them because of Monka. I believe 4 rerolls to hit, might be wound. Pathfinder, these guys again with the recon drone have infiltrate. They got 2 gun drones as well. Got like there's it's really just like you get the pulse accelerator, or you could get the path, or you get the double gun drone. Recon drone's good, gives you infiltrate, gives you a burst cannon. It's hitting on 5s, but you know it's extra shooting. Montcalm makes these guys really fast. when you get that infiltrate scout, and then you just advance for 3 turns, and you get some really weird angles on the uh, on the guiding. Now the main bulk of the list, these Riptides. So you have 6 smart missile systems in this list with the broadsides and the Riptides. You get the double missile drones on both of them. So you have a lot of shooting coming out, especially with the missile drones. But this one, like, you're getting 6 smart missile systems at 3 shots each, full rerolls to wound, ignore cover, ignore ballistic skill modifiers. They're hitting on 4s. So that's 18 shots going into something. No AP on them though, but 18 shots being shot out every turn into some garbage. Strength 5, AP 0-1 damage. You'll clear up a lot of the chaff that isn't good because they can't get cover. They can't get any benefits like that. And then you get the actual like main guiding with the stealth teams. Yep, they're just good. You know, drop a homing beacon. You might be able to rapid ingress. Like, if you could leave, technically you're not going to leave them off the board because you have strike swiftly. You need them to be on the board. But if you were running a Ret Cadre list, then yeah, these they'd be really useful to rapid ingress turn on your turn, on the opponent's turn, and get that. Basically, you can move in turn 2, I think, when you rapid ingress them in. But you can't use that because you got strike swiftly, so you're going to be striking swiftly. Either Ghost Skill's got, I believe, Scout, so they don't need it. Either Scout or Infiltrate, I forget. They're forward deploy. Celsius got the same thing. A lot of this army is just a forward deploy, and the backfield's going to be Riptides, a Devilfish, and Broadsides. So it's a really big mid-board threat army that's just trying to duel you in the center, but it's just hard to do because Talon are so fragile outside of Ghost Skills and Riptides. But yeah, congratulations to Lucas, and let's move on from this tournament. And it's going to be going to the pretty obvious London Grand Tournament. This one had over 1,000 players, something like that. So it's absolutely massive. I don't like the highest I'm going for top cuts 10 because I want to look at this tile list. But other than that, I don't think. Sorry for sniffling. It started raining and now my nose is draining because of the cold, basically. But yeah, so I think like 1 through 9 people have looked at a lot, so I just wanted to do other lists. They're still on the front page, so I guess I'm kind of lazy in that regard. So let's see who's going to be the first. We are looking at Kyle Grundy. I believe he came 20th. So yeah, congratulations to Kyle Grundy. I'm pretty sure he came from freaking from Australia to go to this tournament. So yeah, man, he's doing good. He's one of the best tile players in the world, in my opinion. Probably at least top 3. So he's running a Ret Cadre list, and he's kind of just, you know, saying, yeah, 21 suits. So that is going to be 7 commanders, which are the main bulk of the shooting. He is foregoing everything except for Starflare. Starflare is huge. He's running plasma. I don't hate it. Like, I hate plasma rifles because I think they do nothing, but it works, you know, like it's like on paper it doesn't like it, just like, okay, they 4-up invulns to stop you. I feel like mathematically missile pods are better, but if you're uppy downing these guys, yeah, plasma rifles, you can get them in a position you need them to do, and you can kind of protect them, because that was the main thing. Like, once if you whiff with plasma rifles, you just die because you're just so close. But with Starflare ignition, you can uppy downy. So obviously Farsight, he's either going into a Sunforge squad or Starfire squad. You got a Cold Star with Cyclics. He is going no enhancement in Ret Cadre that gives him like lethal or sustains specifically for him, but he is going in a Starsight squad, as you can tell, because he's got the high outpost burst cannon and the Cyclics. If you've noticed, if they're not like the Fusion Blaster guys, they're taking 1 Cyclic because Cyclics are actually really good, even if there's just the 1, and it gives you the chance. I do believe. Oh shit! Oh no, your tail. I do believe Cyclics are just better than anything you can take other than a Fusion Blaster. Even though, and I believe you can pass off the mortals to your squad instead of yourself, so you can keep getting that Cyclic shooting a lot. Obviously Cold Star is going to give you that advance, and like I think it's like 20-inch move or something like that. It's either 12 or 12. I think you bring it to 12 or 20. Let's double check it. I always forget what the Cold Star does. I know it gives you free advance. Does it increase your move? The entire squad's movement as well. I think it increases movement to 12. Yep, you get move 12. So the it's always like funny because like there's always something you can do in Tau here. So you're gonna have that cold star. You get 2 cold stars, sorry, 3 cold stars, because he's taking as many commanders as possible because they're majority of the damage of the list. So there's going to be the cold stars, and then the rest are going to 2 enforcers. It's too bad because like cold stars are way overcosted for what they are, and it's like they're so good. Like on like if any other faction had the cold star, they'd be like, oh my god, this is amazing. You're giving me move 12, and you're giving me like basically 4 melta guns and all that stuff. It's just on Tau because like in other factions they also going to do decent melee, and it's a huge issue for Tau that we don't have this like actual mid-board melee threat in the form of battle suits. Like even if you just gave battle suits, like if I'd say like give us like a 20-point increase and just give them basically four chainsword hits hitting on 3s, you know, strength 4 AP1 1 damage, like 3 or 4 attacks each. I think that's a good middle ground there. I'd take a 20-point increase on all the battle suits for that. But yeah, we're going here. Oh my gosh, get off. No, stop it. Bad kitty. Bad kitty. Move. I'm recording. No. I have a cat deciding she wants to lay down on my keyboard and she doesn't want to lay in her bed, or she doesn't want to lay on my bed. So I'm just being ruthlessly attacked. We are got a strike team. He's probably just got 75 points left over. They're useful. You know, I don't know how useful in this list. I think they're just there to hold a backfield objective. And they got a 4 cover save. They got a 30-inch shot that can give you a minus to hit. So they could be they have some use. They're not super amazing. You know, they're not the backbone of this. He's probably just got 70 points left over, you know. So, yep. Fire knife. Where are my star sights? Yep, there should be a flame. Yep, this is going to be Farsight's flamer. Farsight being able to deep strike and then give his flamers +1 to wound, and then that EP, and then they get they can deep strike within 6. You're probably not deep striking this guy within 6. This flamer bomb, but this flamer bomb with Farsight and Ret Cadre does a lot of damage. You can get like AP2. There's strength 4, but they're wounding everything in the games on 4s or 5s. Because of that +1 to wound from Farsight, and then you get that +1 strength and the +1 AP when you deep strike within. When you do that 6-inch deep strike stack, which is 2 command points, and that's ridiculous. It should be 1. I think most stratagems in the game for all factions should just be 1 command point instead of 2, unless they're absolutely bonkers. And I think a 6-inch deep strike on Crisis Suit is not absolutely bonkers. So yeah, you've got 22 suits. Each one's going to go in. So this is going to be the Plasma Enforcer or Starflare, and then this is going to be the Fire Knife Squad with whichever missile pod guys there are. Where are they? Do they? Oh yeah, here you go. Enforcer with missile pods. So these guys are going to be pretty tanky. The Enforcer in the missile pod squad's kind of nice. They're stuck at move 10, but that's still pretty quick. But they're effectively gonna have a 2 of armor save, so that's gonna be brutal to push. There we go. This is going to be one of the cold stars, another cold star, and whoever had that missile pod. Was there anything else interesting? Yeah, it's just a good Ret Cadre list, and these are 21 strength T5 bodies with like, I think it's like 20 wounds, 25 wounds. It's hard to shift them when they're in this massed number. You got Kroot for more backline protection. Pathfinder teams, he's got triple Pathfinder teams because you need the spotting, and you're gonna need a 4 deploy unit to protect you. He didn't pick up the recon drone, is what it is. Some of them do have the recon drone. I wonder why this one does. Does he have a grav inhibitor? Yeah, he does. So this is gonna be the grav inhibitor drones to hold, basically just to keep things from charging them. And then you have this one recon guy that's going to go forward to basically try to push out some infiltrates. And then the stealth battle suits, they're going to be the drop homing beacons, because there's going to be like, there's 7 of these crisis teams, and probably 3 of them are always going to be deep striking. So It is what it is. It's a very fast moving, punchy list, and if you're not prepared for it, because like a lot of teams, like if you look at the Death Watch strike, whatever the hell it's called, the detachment where they have the uppy downy on their Death Watch veteran, stuff like that. They're not super quick, right? It's effectively if you had the, I think I forget the name of the Gravis kill team. If you had seven Gravis kill teams that weren't as expensive, they didn't hit as hard, and they didn't have as much wound. They had the same amount of wounds basically, but they didn't hit as hard and they're faster. So you had that, and you just had seven of them running around. It's kind of overwhelming, especially if a lot of you're shooting strength 4, because I know there's a lot of strength 4 shooting coming around, or just like anti-infantry shooting, and especially like Eldar and stuff. Eldar is going to struggle into this list because they don't have enough. Like they have a lot of like sustained shooting, but there's not a lot of +1 to wound. And if they do have +1 to wound out of Eldar, it's only an individual, like from Eldrad Ulthron. So just getting that +1 to wound is going to be hard because there's just so many targets. There's every single battlesuit squad's got to go down. You'll probably lose like after turn 1 though. You're most likely losing 2 of these squads a turn, and incidental shooting is going to pick up your strike team. It's going to pick up your pathfinders. Is going to they're going to target your stealth teams to get you out of to remove your reroll 1s to hit and wound. So you're still going to be losing a lot of that power you'd get, but you know they're still you're going to basically burn bright and burn quick. It's a very movement oriented list, and I completely understand why Cal Grundy took it, because this guy is a wizard in the movement phase. Because if Tau, like as any good Tau player is going to tell you, Tau is not a shooting army, it's a movement army. And the problem with movement armies is that they want, oh god dang it, I'm a cat. They want melee. We just don't have it, so you just kind of lose out on that. Now you gotta position shooting armies that can't, like if we had like a fight first defensive unit that we could throw forward in the mid board that was durable and that didn't do a lot of damage, it just if you charge into it, it's probably going to chunk you, and it's not going to die. If we can tar pitch you with a fights first unit, that would have been amazing. There's no fights first in the codex, you know, like there's no fights first. There's no, you got to be scared of my 6 blade guard and a Justicar or anything, or like speed of the Primarch Blood Angel stuff, or Lionel Johnson heroic intervention with fights first, stuff like that. And it sucks because like Firseight, he's got a decent melee profile. He does not have fights first. I believe he used to give +1 to wound. Like Way of the Short Blade used to be +1 to wound on everything, and I'm pretty sure it still is. Yeah, makes an attack. Okay, because I remember that I think for a while, I think at the start it was it was shooting only for +1 to wound, and now it's everything, because now it's like, okay, he's getting when he's in melee, you know, that counts as attack, so he's basically wounding everything in the game on 4s, because you know he's got +1 to wound. It's not ranged attack. Melee is within 9, so that should be, so like he's got that strength that he's got that strength 10 attack hitting on 4s, but you know his sweep is still doing a decent amount of damage. But yeah, he's just a durable little guy. Let's move on to the next list. We are looking at Brian Seep. I believe he is, where are you? He's an Orks list. This is one thing I wanted to look at because I haven't seen Orks. I don't know anything about Orks. I just wanted to see how he's doing the gas goal. So Power Claw, attack squigs. These guys are just going to go into breakup boys probably, and the big 20 boy is going to be gas. Big mech. I think big mechs can join. Yeah, battle wagons. They should all have the art case, because now you can fit the 2 war bosses into the breakup boys, right, to give them more damage. And then you got war hordes, so you're just going to be doing a ton of buffs for that. And then follow me, lads. What? So I just wanted to see specifically. Unfortunately, I'm not looking like completely in depth in the list. I could probably do it right here. Let's just go to Orks. Let's just go to Orks over here real quick. So Warhorde is, ooh, sorry for the flashbang. Warhorde, here we go. Yep, so he gets sustained hits, 1 on melee weapons. So it's a follow me, lads. Add to the move characteristics of the unit. Let's go over to the big mech with shock attack. I'm pretty sure he's joining a flash gets squad, right? Ooh. Right. Right. Oh no, he's got the custom Mega Blaster. Oops. Big mech. So it's just a normal big mech. He can join, oh gosh. Not flash gets. Huh. What do you join with this squad? I don't even know what you join. Shaka Boosta. Huh. You could throw this in that 5-man knob squad, or you could throw him in with the boys. I feel like he'd also be good because he's giving. You could probably throw him with the Breaker boys, but like, can you join? Can Gat, because he can't double onto you know what, he might be joining the boy squad because the boys let you, if you have the 20-man, right? Yep, you can attach up to the loot, but only if one is a war boss. I believe Gaz has the war boss keyword, right? He should have the war boss keywords. So he is the war boss. He takes up 5 slots in a in the battle wagon. So 22 orcs, Mintry Muscle, 12 orcs. He takes up 4. So I don't know how Gaz is jumping into this. Right? Because it's 22 orc models, but he takes up 4. So you can't double stack them. So you're probably just putting a normal war boss and you're putting Gaz in with the Breaker Boy. Put the war boss, Gaz, 12 Breaker Boys into one, and then you're putting the big mech with another war boss with the boys in a different one, and they're rolling in to go crumpin'. The flash kits, ammo run, they're all probably just sitting on the board somewhere shooting. Burner boys are probably walking up the board. You got some knobs. I think knobs, like normal knobs, get do they get scouts, right? Because I know commandos get something different, but where is it? No, they're just walking. Or you put them with the knobs so they're -1 to wound, but they're only 5 models. It's like, I don't know how they're connecting this. Like I'm learning along the way. This is a very punchy list with the flash kits as well, because you got Warhorde. You go to Warhorde, you're getting that sustained ones on all melee, which is huge for Gaz, especially with the boys, like that big 20-man boy squad. I could see the 20-man boy squad being the war boss in that, and you get to add 2 inches, so you got a really quick boy squad. Okay, any phase unit from your army with the ability is destroyed. You use a stratagem effect. You can normal fallback move forward steadily mines before any embark units perform it. So yeah, you can just drop 1 command point if you destroy the hard case, and they can move like whatever that is. So you get free movement and then emergency disembark. So that's huge. Yeah, then you could just drop the art as nails. Yeah, this is and you get the fights on death for that 20-man boy squad. Yeah, this is a very, very punchy list. And you get that +2 advance in charge on Here We Go. Whew. Yeah, this is it is a big beefy warhorde list, and I'm kind of seeing how it's put together. Maybe the Breaker Boys. Did the Breaker Boys have deep strike? I always forget, because I know Breaker Boys are kind of nuts in melee. Like if they are targeting a if they're targeting anything that isn't or the other over here, because they're not tank buses, they're Breaker Boys, so they're melee versions. They do not have deep strike. They just are dudes. Huh. Yeah, it's just I'm struggling to see how this works out because you got the 2 war bosses, but I feel like if you can't put Gaz on the field with the big mech because they can't fit in the art case. But maybe you don't put them in that and you drop the big mech somewhere else, but you want to double attach, so you probably put the war boss and you have Gaz with like either the Breaker Boys, or you have Gaz with a knob squad. You put the 2 knobs with Gaz in one squad, and then you have the Breaker Boys on foot or something. I'm not too sure. I don't know how this works. You also got just random knob squads with 11 Gretchen. The Gretchen is just going to be the backfield, and then you got the big mech, and you put the big mech in. You're putting the big mech in the 20-man boy squad because you want that +2 to move, because these boys are very punchy with sustained hits and all that juicy stuff you get from the war boss. Yeah, I don't know how this list works, and it's like flash kits are obvious. They're just going to sit in the back shoot. You know, they're flash kits, they're shooty boys. Whatever the hell's attaching to these boys is going in a battle wagon, and they're going to be running up the board crushing things. Gaz is going into something, he's going in the other battle wagon, and Burner boys are probably just walking. I don't know, do they have any special boot, or are they just all walking? Are they just all walkie boys? Let's see. They're just all walkie boys. I guess he's got all that, depending on the, because obviously when you start the game, you can determine how you're going to want to attach things. So the burner boys could go into the battle wagons, the flash kits could go in the battle, and so forth. But it's just the way it is. I don't know much about this list. I got to look into it and see how people are playing it. Other than that, the Warhorde is just a very good melee army. You got this big 20 boy brick that's just going to be hard to push. Moving on to Ben Jones, who came in, let's see, 11th from Vanguard Tactics. So he's a quite a good player. They have a YouTube channel, I believe, so just go take a look at them. So he's running an aspect host instead of a I think it's a war host or whatever it's called. The other guy, let's see. It's the one that buffs aspect shrine warriors instead of giving you that extra juicy movement. Right, yeah, it's not Warhost. Warhost is the specialist win one. Aspect Host is the one that gives all those buffs. He's running Azerman, which is interesting because most of the time I haven't actually seen Azerman. But you got Fugan, so he's going into Dire Adventures. Got the Fugan with the Wave Serpent brick chainsaw for that Lickish. So double Void Reavers, they went up for the 5, not for the 10. So he just went up, 10 points on this list. So it's too bad. Wave Serpent, this is going to be the thing you're going to be putting behind a wall with your Fire Dragon Fugan squad to give them a pseudo indirect. I believe you can do that in Aspect Host. I think it actually might be better in Aspect Host than your standard War Host. Let's take a look. Aspect Host. Did I scroll by it? Here we go. Path of the Warrior. There should be. Oh God. Yeah, this is just preternatural. Maybe you do not have. Oh, no, you just disembark on the other side of a wall on one phase and then re-embark at the end of the fight phase. So because you can't re-embark, you can't disembark and embark in the same phase, but you can re-embark after on a different phase or whatever. I forget how it works, but you can go in and out in the same phase. So yeah, that's just the way it works. Dire Avengers, this is going to be Azerman in here. They got a Falcon. I think you're putting Azerman and that in the Falcon so they can disembark. They have a good amount of shooting. Fire Dragons obviously going in there. Howling Banshees, they're just starting the board. Double Ranger. I've noticed they're taking, normally it's like, it used to be 3 Corsairs, 1 Ranger, now it's 2 Corsairs, 2 Rangers, because that's just the way the points come out. Swooping Hawks, they're still taking a 10-man, so that's pretty big, but they are Swooping Hawks in Aspect Host, so they're getting a massive amount of buffs. Plus, that the mainstay of their thing is the preternatural precision. That is going to be the primary. That is the primary damage buff you're going to be throwing all there. Same thing with Warrior Focus. Just ignoring all modifiers is pretty big as well. That'll go into, say, like if you drop Warrior Focus, you target a Rogadorn with your Fire Dragons, it's just going to kill the Rogadorn. But yeah, that 10 man's going to be a really juicy ignore all modifiers or the predetermined precision. And the triple warp spider, one with lickish, they're just going to eat themselves up the board, be impossible to kill. It's a really tough list. I think that broadside list from the a Monsterland Major is actually really good into this list because you can actually hit the aspect warriors when they're, because like a lot of the stuff is like they want to stage behind a ruin and then jump forward, but this list will have a hard time against good indirect. It's still going to struggle into like destroying this. Like the hardest thing to kill, I think, in the game is this Fugue Brick, right? Like it's like, oh, it's like 300 points, something like that, but like it's almost impossible to kill because the Wave Serpent hides behind a ruin that you can't see through. Fugin and the Fire Dragons are just chilling. That's 120. The Wave Serpent's 225, sorry, 245, and then the Fire Dragon. So it's almost 500. It's over almost 500 points. So it's a quarter of your armies and this one brick, and you have to pop the Wave Serpent, and the Wave Serpent you can't see it. So it's just, and if you do see the Wave Serpent, whatever you're putting to fight that Wave Serpent is just going to break the Wave Serpent, and you're not going to be able to crack the Fire Dragons that are behind a ruin, you know. Even if you charge it, doesn't matter because they got Jane Czar chilling in the wings, or any you know, drop a swooping hawk squad to clean up whatever the hell just destroyed it in the fight phase, and you get the warp spiders and stuff like that. They'll just run up and shoot you to death. It's a very like this in the war host. This basically this type aspect host and war host lists are probably the best lists in the game. I think Eldar is either the best army in the game right now or top 3, and it's unfortunate that the Eldar did not win the London Grand Tournament. That came to a Chaos Space Marines, but I think that was more of a super elite player rather than this is what the meta game is probably going to be about. But you know, that's me as a layman, so there's probably something I'm missing here. But yeah, this is a very simple, not really simple. Like it's a lot of movement tech, a lot of positioning you have to get right, and then knowing it's not just like window slam, you know. 300, you know, like 30 Death Watch veteran teams and just run them up the board, or like anything like that for like world leaders. There is some positioning needed in all that, but it's just so good because there's so many models, and they're all min squads. Like you think it's like, oh, it's probably like what, like that's 5, 10, 15, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 60, 65, 70, 75 models. You know, they're all T1, T3 damage wound 1 models, plus the actual like the I guess the meat and potatoes of like the commanders, basically the actual like Phoenix Lords, and they do a lot of damage too. And it's like, okay, and then you got these two vehicles, and like, yeah, I don't care about the team. They're gonna die, but they're gonna delete whatever they attack, and it just sucks, especially if they get first turn. But yeah, congratulations, Ben Jones. Let's move on to the next list. We're going to be looking at Paul Newberger. Where did he got 7th in this one. I think I missed one as well. That's fine. He is running the new Shadowmark Talon. It's a really good attachment. 8th and Shaw, Cavian Strike, you know, simple stuff. I don't know how Cavian Strike can be the warlord if 8th and Shaw's on the field. I think they should. It's nothing, but it's there. You got Hunter's Instincts. Hunter's Instincts is the one. I always forget the stupid thing for Hunter's Instincts. I wonder if it's in here. It should. There we go, Shadowmark Talon. We're just gonna pull that up real quick. Hunter's Instincts is the one they're running. Shadowmark Talon, Ravenguard. Can I go boop? Let's go to faction roles. I always forget Shadowmark Talon. Hunter's Instincts is the one that gives them, yep, uppy downy. No, it's the first. It's turn 1 deep strike, which is insane, especially because you're throwing in the combi lieutenant. They don't have the Corona Suzerain on there that gives him like the I forget what it's called, what it does exactly, but it's the one, yeah, the Lord of Deceit aura. They don't have that, but it's fine. Intercessor squad, they're just there. They're cheap. They're good shooting. So intercessors, they're just going to be random dudes you can go. Centurion Devastator squads. This is the old Art of War Ravenguard detachment. The prior one for the Vanguard Assault, or whatever the hell it's called, Vanguard detachment, where you have the Devastators. These Devastator squads are extremely hard to kill. I think they're toughness 6, right? I'm pretty sure they're T6. Might be T7. If they're T7, that's kind of brutal. That's a hard nut to crack. Whew. Yeah, that's a very hard nut to crack. Because they're 4 wounds each. You got 24 T7 wounds. Like, oh yeah, with a 2-up save. You can't just delete the squad is not going to die in 1 round of shooting. You got the 6-man for the big shot, the 3-man for the little shot. The 3-man will crack. What you do is you crack a Land Raider with a 3-man or something, and then 6-mans will delete whatever inside of it. Inceptor squads, they're just good things to have. They just deep strike within 6, and then they got assault plasma exterminators for the big one, assault bolters for just cleaning up like aspect warriors and the wings. But this is a big squad for the Inceptor squad as well. And you got just some scout stuff and cursor squads. They're cheaper than infiltrators, but they don't do like infiltrators. I think are better, but I think he just needed the points, right? Yeah, he just didn't have enough points for the infiltrators, so cursors are going to do. Then the double Vanguard. These are the actual like the mainstay damage. They got storm shields and they got assault weapons. So Cave and Strike goes in 1. You can't be targeted outside of 12. So Cave and Strike, basically, if you can target Cave and Shard squad, they're not going to die in 1 round of shooting unless you have like a mass fire. Like say that Firseight Flamer Brick could probably deal half the wounds, probably kill half the squad, but it'll be picked up by the squad next turn. And then the Power Fist Hand Flamer Hunter's Instincts guy, he's going to deep strike turn 1 with one of these guys and just try to get that juicy charge. It's a very movement heavy list that's going to be really hard to break. As you can see, it's like, okay, it's just Masters of Shadows. It's the family, like, it's probably the best. Like, this is actually a contender for like best detachment outside of Gladius. I think the thing, once we see the Iron Hand and the Stormlance and all the new Stormlance and the new Iron Spear, whatever the hell it's called, the vehicle focused one, that's going to be something that's coming soon. Once we see that, I think those are going to be pretty good too. It's just, it sucks that the Imperial Fist one's garbage, but yeah, you've got just so much stuff here, right? As look at this, like shooting, as long as they're more than 12 away, you get +1 to wound, and then +1 AP. Mind you, on the Centurion Devastators, their last cannons are already hitting pretty hard with the 3, so you get AP4 on your last cannons. Just makes your heavy, it makes your the bolter stuff here, like the missile launchers, they're pretty good. They're getting that extra damage on them is pretty goated. Same with the Inceptors. You're not necessarily going to be dropping them outside of 12, but you could, and try to get that extra AP on their bolt guns. Yeah, it's just a brutal list out here, man. It's just very brutal. Oh, okay. So the London Grand Tournament ran no +1 to wound as well. Yeah, they definitely. I think it's intended that you're supposed to get the +1 to wound, but I'm not. This list is so good without it already. I don't think it matters. I think that +1 to wound with Oath is going to make this the best army in the game, like hands down, if they actually got it. Because like this entire, like basically nothing in the, like getting like, oh, you drop your Oath targets, like, oh, only one of them, and the Vanguard veterans just roll into it with Athan and then just delete it. It's like, okay. So we're in one more list. Will be Tryhard Gaming. He got 10th. So this guy is like literally better than 1,000 other players. He's like top 0.1% or something like that. This is a Montcalm list. I saw this list and I thought it was pretty neat. The Fireside team points reduction makes him really good for a specific caddy that strikes swiftly. It's a very safe enhancement to put on him because he can sit out in the open and he doesn't care because he's got lone op. You got Shadow Sun. She's your backup for your stealth suits when they die. She can't be killed easily. Basically, when Shadow Sun dies, it's pretty much you already know the game's over because she can't really die. Montcalm, obviously. You got Strategic Conqueror. Strategic Conqueror on a Crew Warshaper is actually okay, right? Strategic Conqueror, if we go over to back to Tau, I believe you just you point somewhere. As long as you're on the field, your entire army gets +1 objective control on that on that objective. Now, that doesn't seem like it's good, right? But it's actually a huge thing for first minute, second one on the value, yep, on the add one. So now that doesn't really matter too much, right? You don't think about it at first, but if you took Crute Hounds have 0 objective control, but with this, they now have 1. So that's a huge breakpoint for Crute Hounds, because that means they can actually take objectives from people now. But obviously they're not. You're putting the Crute Warshaper into the Crute Carnivore squads. You got the Pathfinders. They got recon drones. So one's with the grav inhibitor, one's with recon. That just means, double grav inhibitor, 1 recon. So the recon's going to infiltrate. The grav inhibitors are going to be there to prevent you from being charged. So you can throw the Pathfinders in there. You got the Vespid Stingwings. They're okay. You deep strike them. They're action monkeys. And then if you kill them in Montcaw, you can kind of screw with your opponent. Like, oh, if you got like a Black Templar, Repulsor Executioner split firing into them, picks them up, and they don't kill whatever they were shooting at. He's like, okay, well now my whole army has hatred against you, and they get benefits from killing you because you killed my stupid Vespid. So that's a good caddy for that. Obviously, Grav Inhibitor Drone, they just roll. Like, I'm pretty sure Grav Inhibitor Drone, if we go here, it should be Pathfinder. I always forget what it does. I'm pretty sure it's the -2 to charge. Right, it's not, it should be, yeah, -2 to charge. It'd be kind of cool if it if it could also like 18 reduce movement, but I guess that's too good for a 90-point squad. But yeah, -2 to charge. You can throw these guys, scout them up. You know, those deep strike charges coming into an 11-inch on your Pathfinders is pretty big. Crutox Riders, they're just good, and they do have some Crute Hounds. So these Crute Hounds are now objective control 1. You're going to put your Crute Hounds on the side that's going to have that. You're going to put your Crute Hounds on one side that is going to have the dude that you drop for the Warshaper to give them that +1 strategic conqueror. You drop them in, and you run them up the board. And you know, like if they have objective control, like objective secured, and they walk off that objective, you can throw your Crute Hounds up there and just take it. So it's just Crute Hounds 40 points. I don't know if they're better than a Crutox Rider. Crutox Riders are actually decent, but they're okay. But yeah, as you notice, they aren't really taking anything to put into squads outside of the Warshaper, which is that's a cool tech, I think. I feel like it's one of the cheapest caddies for us, and you know, giving Crute Carnivores just a character that can actually like do decent fighting is okay. They're just going to sit in the backfield and try not to get shot because they want to have the strategic conqueror for your Pathfinders and stuff, all that stuff to move up on the board. And then, you know, Crute are hard to kill, you know, -1 to hit because of stealth. And then they're just okay guys. They're guys. And then holy shit, you got this big. So this was something that people were talking about at the start of the edition when Tau came out. There was this concern that Montcaw high yield missile pod 3-man broadside squads were quote unquote too efficient because they ignore all modifiers. You can drop coordinated engagement because there's coordinate to engage in Montcaw here. Where is it? Coordinate to engage is a thing that gives you coordinated exploitation is sustain hits 1 if you're guiding a unit, which is this is a worthless enhancement. If anyone ever takes it on a Firseight team, they're cheating. But yeah, there's coordinated to where is it? No, it's focused fire. Coordinated engagement is up here. It's basically the same thing with oh no, it's not. I always forget, like there's so many of the same words in the Tau thing. But focused fire, you pick 2 units, you get +1 AP. Well, you can only attack that unit in Tau, but like the high yield missile pods don't care. Where is this? Right here. The high yield missile pod guys don't care because they're dumping everything into whatever they're shooting at. They don't care about your -to hit because they ignore ballistic skill modifiers. They're getting +1 to wound, +1 to hit through oh shit. They're just getting +1 to hit. They do not care. There's no stealth teams. Double Riptide. Holy crap. So yeah, you got the 2. So these devilfish are going to be putting the grav inhibitor Pathfinders in for scouting. Holy crap. This is going to be a huge amount of scouting. My God. You're strike swiftling these hammerheads or this broadside squad. You're probably strike swiftling the broadside squad. Ghost Keel is going to move forward on his own. You could try to get some crazy angles on these hammerheads, right? with that scout move, because scout 6 hammerheads, the scouting hammerheads are funny. It's most likely going to be put on the broadside and maybe a Riptide. But yeah, these because like the thing about the Firseight Marksman is that he's just there to be an enhancement caddy, and he's there to push the envelope. Basically, he's just going to be out in the open, and he's going to be acting as a Pathfinder squad. That's 65 points. Sorry, 55 points. No, 60 points. 60 points. He's a 60 point dude. I think at 60 points and being able to take coordinated exploitation, or the other one, what is that one, 3 unit devastation. These 2 enhancements are worthless. You can never use them. I'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, he's good. He's just a good little dude. I think right now at 60 points, he's just a good dude to have. Yeah, this is a very good list. I think I really like seeing like this. A lot of these Tau players now are just taking 3 Pathfinders because they're just so useful. These ion cannons, the ion guns. Is he not taking any ions? Oh no, there they go. 9 ion rifles. That's 9 shots per Pathfinder team hitting on 3s with Montka. And if you do the focus fire on one of them, right, for your broadsides, it's AP3, shooting. That's insane. And then like you got the Riptides in the backfield. These guys are huge damage now, because they're strength 10, and you get -1 to wound. Sorry, -1 damage in the entire, because Montka has -1 to damage for 2 command points, counter fire defense system. It sucks because it's only shooting phase, so like it's like the weird thing. It's like a lot of our defensive buffs are only in the shooting phase, and it sucks. Next thing is like you put combat debarkation, right? Normally you don't need this because normally you don't need the reroll for your breachers, but if you have Pathfinders and the Devilfish that are scouting, you disembark, and now you can reroll the entire wound roll. So those Pathfinders are now reroll. Those 9 plasma shots are now wound reroll. So that's insane. Aggressive mobility, obviously, you can just it's not battle suit, it's any unit. So you can just, if you're advanced, auto advance. You can add. You can't pulse onslaught. Doesn't. It's 2 command points. Should be 1. Like, oh my god, it should definitely be 1. This should be 1 command point. Like I don't understand. Like counter fire defenses, pulse onslaught should be 1 command point, -1 damage, -2 to charge, advance, and move. Like, But yeah, so going back to this, right? Coordinated exploitation. This is like the main thing I have. This should not be 40 points if it has remove the bearer needs to be leading a unit clause, and it just be Tau Empire leader model only, excluding Crute Shapers. While the bearer is, so just each time this unit is an observer, and that's it. Then it's 40 points. They thought, oh, well, giving sustained 1s in Montka would kind of be nuts. And it's like 1 unit for 1 turn. And if you make it 40 points, it's a 100-point Firseight team. He becomes the most important target on your opponent's field, right? And he's going to be targeted. He's the same price as Shadow Sun. And it's like, he's just there to guide, and that's it. And he's just so hard. He'll be difficult to kill. And your opponent's going to do everything to kill him because they do not want sustained hits 1 on just a random target. He's basically got like a buffed up oath. And I just realized there's no stealth team, so that's why they have Shadow Sun. You need Shadow Sun if you're not taking stealth teams to get that reroll 1s, because like realistically the wound is the most important part, but Tau struggle a lot to hit. So getting that reroll 1s in an aura is actually quite nice, especially for your Riptides. Everything else is like, okay, that's kind of like the next thing is like, what do you need really stealth suits right now, like more than 2 of them? Because like, yeah, Shadow Sun's kind of like this. I don't like her as much, but if you're doing a no stealth suits list, then yeah, she's really good. But like I used to take her on my Taunar lists because she was the only way to get reroll 1s that doesn't get the split fire penalty. But now there's no split fire penalty, so like two stealth teams are just better than her and stuff like that. So it's just food for thought. She has a place. I think 100 points is too much. I think Firseight dropped down to like 85 points, right? Was he dropped down to 95 or 85? I forget. Yeah, 85. Farsight is 85 points, but she's 100. Like, they're really like, oh yeah, the leader unit with a +1 to wound with a 9. Oh, he's definitely worth 85. And like, why is Shadow Sun 100? She should be 90. I don't think there should be any character unit in the Tau that should be base triple digits on points cost, but that's just me. Yeah, I think that'll be it for today. It's a little bit of a longer one. I missed a couple weeks, so that's one of the main things I was doing there. So yeah, thank you all very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I try to get one of these videos out a week. Sometimes I miss it, unfortunately. Go figure. And yeah, as always, I'm doing these tournament reviews with Tau Focus, so I look at a lot more Tau lists than any other list. But if there's no Tau list that tournament that I liked or wanted to talk about, it's going to be no Tau. Yeah, if you made it this far, it really helped me out a lot. If you hit the like button, it pushes me in the algorithm, gets more people to watch and all that. So all that use is begging. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see more of my content. I like to get bigger, and the bigger I get, the more likely people will watch my videos, and hopefully I'll be able to help out more people in the Warhammer space or even just the gaming space in general. And yeah, if you have any comments, tips, or tricks, like especially that orc list I was talking about, I had no idea how it really worked other than throw orcs in vehicle and charge forward with Flash Kids Overwatch. If you have any like tips or tricks, like if you're the person that ran this list and tell me, oh, this is how I'm actually writing it, that'll help me out a lot so I can learn. For the most part, I'm not playing like these types of orcs lists in my local. They're mainly like Space Marines and like Chaos Space Marine motto faction and stuff like that. So as always, thank you very much for watching. Have a great day.